Any other accolades, I'll let you Google and look up. Just like I'm so weird about talking about accolades. So anything else you want to know about me, feel free to look it up. But I played at the University of Michigan, and I currently play pro now. I played for the USSSA Pride in Florida, and then currently play for Athletes Unlimited, and now in the new league AUSL with the Volts. So this will be my first year in the AUSL league, which just started. Really excited about it. But yeah, so that's just a little bit about me. My family is a family full of athletes. My sister Sydney played softball at the University of Oklahoma. My brother Mikey was drafted in the first round by the Red Sox, and then my youngest sister Sophia is currently at Boise State. So all baseball, softball people in the family, definitely something we grew up around, and it's our life. So I'm excited to share with you guys my app, what it can provide for you, what it can do for you, and hopefully it can help you guys reach those ultimate goals that you're trying to reach of getting a college scholarship and pursuing your dreams. So the app is called the 32 Approach. It's founded by myself and my trainer, Thomas Summers. The next slide, Lex, you'll have to let me know. I sent it to her to Lex. You guys might have seen it, so we don't need to watch it if you've all seen it. But if not, we can watch the next slide. Lex, you just let me know what you want to do with that.
Let's go ahead and watch it just so that we don't miss anything.
Okay. Oh, where's it at? Oh, actually, this is the next slide. We'll watch the next video. So in the app, we have hitting, defense, pitching, catching, speed and agility, strength and conditioning, game day primers, and then mental approach. So for us, our big thing is providing for you elite training at an affordable price. When it comes to pitching, I don't know pitching, so I'm not going to sit here and act like I can teach it to you guys. So we have, you guys might have heard of her, Crazy Paisley, on Instagram, Paisley Pitching. So she's our pitching instructor on the app. She's the one who has all of her drills on there. Very, very good, knows her stuff. We had her down here in Florida to film with us, got to pick her brain. And one thing about our app is we're not going to bring somebody on who doesn't know what they are talking about. We want to bring people on who have been there, done it, and had success at the highest level so we can ensure you guys that you're getting quality drills from somebody who knows how to play that position or do that part at the highest level. Same thing with catching. We have Paige Halstead. Speed and agility, we just actually added a Skylar Wallace speed and agility session. The strength and conditioning is Thomas Summers. So he works with pro softball players, college softball players, and then same thing on the baseball side. So he's really a baseball softball guy. And then we have the game day primers. That's going to be stuff for you guys to do on game days. A little bit less of a workout, but still a way to get your body moving. And then we have mental approach stuff on there too. So I talk about mental approach and things for you guys to practice for a whole month before it goes on to the next month of a new mental approach that I want you guys to practice. And it's basically me talking to you about things that I've learned over the years that have worked, mentalities and ways that you should think about the game. We'll go ahead and watch this video.
What's up, everyone? My name is Sierra Romero. You might know me from my time at the University of Michigan.
Nobody in the country with a higher batting average than Romero.
Growing up, I was never the biggest athlete, so a lot of colleges passed me up. So I knew if I wanted to make it in softball, I had to have a bulletproof plan to outwork my competition, and that's exactly what I did.
Sierra Romero, she has been a truly special player
Over my career, I developed very specific training methods that allowed me to shine on softball's biggest stage.
Romero played in the Big Ten in just about every offensive category.
These protocols gave me an extreme advantage, and now they can give you the same advantage. I'm finally releasing them to the public with the 32 Approach Softball Academy. Take the guessing game out of your training. I'm going to show you exactly what I do to prepare for each season. You get my everyday fielding program, my daily hitting program. I'll even teach you how I hack the mental side of the game. I wanted to make this the best softball program on the planet. So I teamed up with my world-renowned strength coach, Thomas Summers, to take care of you in the weight room.
Thomas Summers here, founder of Summers Method Performance. I'm a big league trainer and expert in strength and conditioning, and my systems are world-renowned for building the strongest softball players on the planet. It's simple. In today's game, coaches are investing in power. And that's exactly what we're building in this program. I show you exactly what Sierra is doing on a daily basis in the weight room to build her softball specific strength, speed, and power. And let me tell you, she doesn't just have the all-time Grand Slam record by accident. And the best part is that this program is scalable for all ages, whether you're an elite pro like Sierra or a 10-year-old girl just introduced to fast pitch. You know, I may be biased, right? But this truly is the best softball developmental program out there. And this is an opportunity to work out alongside one of the best that ever played the game. Can't wait to see you on the inside.
I'm living proof. I went from being the kid that colleges passed up to a four-time All-American, to a member of the USA national team and the Mexican national team, and now a professional softball player with Athletes Unlimited. This is exactly what I did to become one of the greatest players of all time. What's up, everyone? My name is Sierra Romero.
So big thing for us with the app is taking all the thinking out of it for you guys. Everything in there is going to have video instruction on what to do. So if you're like, I don't know this movement, there's a video for it. Same thing for the pitching, catching, fielding, hitting, all of it. There's video. So you can also use that visual side as an athlete. We're very big. I've noticed visual learners when it comes to athletics. And so we wanted to make sure you guys had that for the visual, but also to make sure you're doing things properly and you can try to mimic mechanics and start to create the muscle memory that you guys are wanting and that you need to be successful. So for us, we don't want you to wake up and think, I don't know what workout I'm supposed to do today. Like what's going to be beneficial and actually make me stronger, what hitting drills, you know, are good drills and aren't just like gimmicks. Like what are things that are actually going to make me better? So we put all of that in the app for you. So one thing about us is as workouts and as drills change, we change with it. So if I find a drill that I really like that I think is going to be beneficial for softball players, I will film it and then I put it into the app and it'll be added to the program and you might see it pop up eventually as we start to rotate the drills. But what you're not going to see is some drill that maybe goes viral, but I don't think actually serves you guys a purpose. I really want to keep this elite, clean, you know, just straight shooter. Like this is what's going to work for you. And if you do this enough times, you will be successful with it. And I don't want to overwhelm you, the athlete, with a million different drills because a million different drills doesn't fix anything. And so we really try to minimize what we call the eye wash and make sure there's no eye wash within the app and everything that we give you guys is straight to the point and you know you're going to be able to get results from it as you continue to work on it. So the reason why this has been important to us is softball has always been second when it comes to baseball, especially. You know, I grew up in a California town or California state where softball is like, it's like softball mecca, like that it's just softball everything. But then on the baseball side, it's baseball mecca too. And so softball was always second. And having a brother who was younger than me, but have even more resources than I did, I was like, what the heck? Like, what about the softball players? You know, he had every resource he could possibly have. And whereas Sydney and I had to really figure it out, and we were lucky to have some coaches and good, you know, coaches around us that helped us get to that level, but we didn't have access to a lot of things. And so we had to kind of just figure it out for ourselves. And so that's something that really drives us with this app is providing good quality instruction for the softball players. And we want to provide it at an affordable price. You know, hitting lessons are anywhere from $50 plus for 30 minutes to an hour. And that's for one lesson. And in order to get better as a hitter, you should be hitting at least 3 times a week. And so that's a lot of money spent weekly. That's could be, if it's $50, that could be $150 a week spent on hitting lessons. And that just gets pricey on top of how expensive all softball gear is now too. And the big thing too is a majority of parents and players don't know what to do. They want their kid to be great. The kid wants to be great, but they don't even know where to start. A lot of times they go to social media. They're like, do this, try this. this is all going to work. And most of the time you might find a drill you like, but is it actually serving you a purpose? Are you actually developing as a player? Probably not, because you don't have a structured routine. And with athletes, a structured routine is really, really important, as well as the consistency behind it. Not just hitting that routine for 1 week, taking 3 weeks off. It's hitting it every single week and constantly working to get better. So for travel softball, this is really big. And I don't know if you guys have talked about it. I don't feel like I've seen a lot of chats on it, so I don't know that many people are talking about it. But the NCAA transfer portal, which is still fairly new, it negatively affects travel ball. And the reason why it negatively affects travel ball is because now colleges are more likely to go to the transfer portal, pick a kid who's coming from, oh, she's transferring from Alabama and she has 2 years of playing experience. Like, let's just bring her in instead of offering the whoever in high school a scholarship. Or let's just bring in so and so instead of starting our high school freshman who just came in from, or our freshman who just came in from high school. And so the reason why that is happening a lot, from conversations I've had with college coaches that are friends, but also older college coaches like Bonnie at Michigan, Gasso at Oklahoma, Lombardi at Oregon, conversations with them, the players aren't coming in developed. Players are coming in weak. They're coming in needing too much help. Um, and when I say too much help, I don't mean like, because part of college is growth and getting you to that next level. But you have to have a strong foundation. If you don't have that strong foundation, you immediately get, in a sense, left behind, or people are quick to pass you up. And so what's happening now is the senior in high school is getting to their freshman year in college, and they're not they're not winding up to be what the coach thought they were going to be. They got their scholarship and then they started to coast. And that's what you see a lot of. People get their offer, they verbally commit. They're like, I'm good to go. I don't really need to worry. And these girls don't continue to train, don't continue to get better. They get to college and they basically get like a smack in the face and they're like, whoa, everybody here is good, if not better than me. And I'm not the best on my team anymore. And now they're in shock. Then you see a lot of transfers, then you see a lot of different things happening. But ultimately, that whole process keeps happening even when transfers go into the transfer portal, because they're not fixing the actual problem, which is their own development. And I believe the statistics is like anybody who enters into a transfer portal, 60% of NCAA athletes that go into the transfer portal end up going to a smaller, not as good school than the one that they were previously at. You hear all about the success stories with the transfer portal, but that's not the majority. The majority go to a smaller, lesser school, and some actually don't actually get a scholarship offer after they go into the transfer portal. And then they end up having to, if they want to continue playing, they go to a school and have to pay out of their own pockets, whereas maybe they were on scholarship before. These are just some of the player testimonials. A big one for us are obviously these three, but one that like sticks out to me because it was so random. Obviously with Sydney, she's my sister. I made her get on the app and I was like, you have to just try it and tell me what you think. She got on the app. She was obsessed with it. She's still on it. She still does workouts. She does all the things. And she's like, dude, why are more people not on this? And I'm like, that's a great question. I was like, maybe they don't know that it's available, or maybe they think it's just another gimmick. I don't really know, but like, I appreciate you saying that. And Sydney is my sister that played at the University of Oklahoma. She's won 2 national championships there as a player, and then one as a coach. Maybe 2 as coach. One as a coach, I think. And now she's the assistant coach at the University of Oregon. Skylar Wallace, University of Florida. She actually lives out here now with me in St. Pete. Her and I actually train together every single day for our pro season. But my favorite one is probably Erin Koffel, because I had no idea she was on our app, like at all. And my partner, Thomas Summers, he was like, "Hey, do you know who Erin Koffel is?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Oh, well, she's been on our app for a little while, and I just thought that was random. Like, she didn't reach out to you first. And I didn't know if it was maybe like a friend thing, like, oh, I don't want my friend to know I'm actually using their app, but I'm gonna get on it. And so I ended up messaging her. So she now knows that I know she's using it. And she loves it. She's like, this is exactly what I need. She's like, when I was in college, I had the structure, I had everything. They told me what to do, and I just did it. She's like, now as a pro, I don't know what to do. And this helps me because she's like, I wake up, I go to the gym, it makes it fun. It doesn't make it a headache for me because it just tells me what to do and I do it. And I did my work for the day and I go move on to the next thing that I need to do. So for me, that one was really cool because of just how organic it was. Like I had no idea she was working with us until her name popped up on our database. So we do a giveaway every year. Unfortunately, for you guys, the giveaway has ended. So we already picked a winner for 2020, the 2025 year, but this was our first year of doing the giveaway. We do an all-inclusive paid trip out here to St. Petersburg, Florida, and we fly out the player and a parent and we put them up in a hotel and they come out here and we have dinner in downtown St. Pete. We train together. We do analysis of strength and conditioning, where they're at physically. We also do hitting and defense with me. But it's a good time. It's a lot of fun. And this is her player testimonial and really kind of just how they came about the app. And you can definitely tell it's not scripted. They weren't super comfortable in front of the camera, but I love what they had to say.
Way. I had no idea I had won a giveaway. I feel like the app just takes you to the next level. It's the work that you're doing in college, and I feel like if you want to be ahead when you get to college, that's what you need to download. I needed a program that I could stick to and get the right work I needed.
She and I work, pretty much, on all her extra stuff that she's doing besides her select ball stuff. It's just she and I just don't have the background to be able to get her the information that she needed. So I found something that had the workout stuff and the hitting all in one. It was just invaluable to us.
Because when I see all my other teammates on my select ball, I feel like they don't have as good as a routine as I have on the 32 approach. When I first started, I was one of the worst people on my team, and everyone was just so ahead of me, and I was tired of being embarrassed by being one of the worst. So I just decided to lock in and go for it. Changing my mindset definitely helped with my confidence. It's because of the amount of work I put in. The amount of work I put in helped with my confidence because I knew that I was putting the work in and that I would eventually get to where I needed to be.
I think in relationship to the app, what Joey saw was it's like, wow, there's workouts every day, and there's something to do every day. I was like, well, this app is for kids, young people who want to go to college, and that's the reality of playing at that level. And I think when she realized, she's like, okay, well, let's go for it.
So cool thing about
But
her story is just that when we were talking at dinner, so the night that we went out to dinner, we were just talking, having just conversation, and I just was asking her, I was like, what like drew you to it? What was the deciding factor for you that you wanted to go all in? Because the app is tough, right? It's not like, if you're sore, you have to work out on the day where you're like, oh, I need to take today off. Like you can take the day off if you need it. Like you have to listen to your body too. But we put in there the things that you have to get used to. You can start out working out a couple times a week and then gradually move up to 3 and even 4 times a week if you want. It's totally up to you, the player. But what's cool about her is that she just literally said, I was tired of being the worst player on my team. And I was like, for me as a founder, I was like super proud of the app because I'm like, wow, you went from being the worst player on your team to getting a college offer. And now you're going to go play softball and you randomly decided to put 100% into it in high school. Like you didn't start at 8 years old, like a lot of softball players start at 8 years old and go from there. You literally started sophomore year of high school and you're like, okay, let's do this. Like, I just want to actually try now and I want to figure it out for real. And I was like, and she did. When she came in, I was like, you just started playing a couple years ago? She was like, yeah. I was like, that's impressive. Like, the fact that she was able to just dive into this app and fully trust it and buy into what we were telling her to do in the process, and to see her have that success was just a really, really cool moment for us. But moving on to the next slide, the app is very clean, user friendly. It's got great programs. It's a one-stop shop for everything. And like I said, video instruction, and it's all by people who have played and performed and had success at the highest level. So, you're getting good quality stuff. You're going to have everything that you need on the app. You're going to be able to visually see it with every single drill.
I just set my place and then got a particular place.
So every single thing I'm doing, just like that, there's video of it. So I know what movement I'm supposed to do in the gym. Same thing for defense, hitting, all the things. So you'll never have any question of what you're supposed to do. And then each thing in there has like a little check. So for somebody like me who wants to be able to check things off, I hit next. There's a green check mark that goes next to it. So I know I'm slowly, getting this done. And then that is it for my PowerPoint. And I want to make sure to allow you guys to open it up to questions. Lex, did I stop sharing my screen? Am I good?
Yes, you stopped sharing your screen. Sierra, is there any way that we can pull up the app and you kind of go through it with us on like what it looks like once you have downloaded it, like week one, once you've completed week one? It's like, I want you to kind of explain the app on how there's phases on if you have to complete phase one to get access to phase two, so that you're not skipping ahead and there is a process behind it.
Yeah, so when you log on, so my app is going to look different than your guys' is right now. So I'm on a different program than what you guys are on because I'm prepping for my pro season. So like right when you go on, there's a how to use the app, right? So you go on, you click the how to use the app, and then you'll add the programs that you want, because a catcher doesn't want to see the pitching program in her app. You want to keep it clean and smooth. Same thing as a hitter. Hitter doesn't want to see the pitching and catching stuff. And so you can add all of those things into the app, and then it'll basically be Monday, here's your hitting, here's your fielding, and then here's your mental approach that you need to work on, and then maybe even your workouts. And so let me see. Let me click on. Trying to think which one I should show you guys. So for example, this is like a phase one of Skylar's speed and agility training. So in the app, it actually looks like this. And so as you're scrolling, this, for example, is my dynamic warm up that I have to do. And then it'll slowly get into what is called movement preps. And then as you continue to go, you'll see power and then strength, and then you'll finish it up with your ACCs. And so all of this is basically your workout for the day. That's specifically for your workout. Then if you were to go to, let's say, hitting, let me go to hitting phase one. Hitting phase one, I click on that. Okay, hitting phase one, you have the hitter's warm up. So that way you guys just aren't jumping into hitting without being properly warm. We want to get like rotational. We want to get you loose. We're really big on like med ball stuff. We do a lot of med ball stuff. We do a lot of different stretching to stretch out your back, your arms, things, legs that you're going to need specifically in a certain way to hit and get all the power out of your hitting that you need. So we have hitters warm up and then we have the hitters primer on there. And then when you go down, you have pro tip. And so the pro tip is just kind of like a little bit of advice. So for example, you have some tee work on this phase one. So my pro tip that's in there, I can already tell you what it is tee placement. A lot of girls don't realize that you're jamming yourself on the tee for no reason. So it's just a quick little tip. Hey, when you go to do this tee work, make sure the tee is placed out front. You're not jamming yourself, and it shows you where to place the tee as well as weight distribution. I give another pro tip on weight distribution and what that means in hitting. So that's just a video to watch. That's not you actually doing anything. That's just instructions for you to watch. And then we have on here the work. So we call it the work, and that's your hitting for the day. And so if you look at it, you might be looking at it like, oh, that looks like a lot. It's not, I promise you. The warm up takes probably maybe 10 minutes, primer, 5 minutes maybe. Pro tips, you're just watching the video, and then the hitting is where it takes the longest amount of time, but that's solely up to you. I can make my hitting go really long because I am somebody who breaks down everything that I'm doing. So the 20 reps that I might do might take a little bit longer because I have a specific way that I want to get it done. So like on here, we even tell you the amount of reps, but that's just to make sure you're actually getting what I feel is quality reps in. Sometimes I have a younger sister who is 11 years younger than me. And so when she was, let's say, 12 years old, I remember telling her, like, oh, yeah, you should go hit off the tee or go, do whatever. I swear she was back inside within 5 minutes. And I'm like, Sophia, you got to do more than that. And so we put on here what we think is a manageable, doable amount of reps. You're always able to do more, but we definitely recommend you don't do less. And so on here we have like single arm drills on the tee, 20 reps per side. Um, this one's hitting inside half of the ball off of a tee with a regular bat. So this is just hand placement, hand guide, where you should be focusing when hitting off of a tee. Instead of pulling everything, we're going middle opposite field. Then we have extension, which is my personal favorite. And then we have the tennis ball bounce drill. And so we have tennis ball bounce drill and all of these. So if I go and click on extension,
The next drill we're gonna do is gonna be
I'm
extension.
explaining
If
everything
you're
to
somebody
you.
that's ever gone to any of my camps or ever talked hitting with me, extension is something that I preach every single time. The year that Michigan had the most home runs, we went all the way to the World Series. Extension was something we did off the tee, off front toss, off live, even off a really fast machine. If you can perfect your extension, you can make a lot more mistakes when you're hitting. I can't tell you how many times I've been fooled on a pitch. Can't show you all the goods. So that's basically what the video is like. And I don't, like I said, I threw like a random story in there. That was the year Michigan was at the World Series, was the year or the year we had the most home runs, was the year we did extension like nonstop every single day. Like it was our job. Well, it kind of was. So that's basically what we did all the time. And that's just kind of what hitting looks like. So I'm sure you can imagine what pitching, catching, fielding looks like. Same thing, except we're obviously doing defense. Paisley's doing pitching, Paige is doing catching. And what's cool about it is we can always add more. For example, we don't have outfield in there right now, but we will. I can promise you we will. For us, it's just about finding the right partner. We've thrown out names like Jada Coleman. We're always open to having people in our app give us more names of people that they would like to learn from. We're also planning on adding even just more hitters, right? So even though my hitting in there is mine and it's in there, I still want to add other hitters who can explain hitting well because you might learn from so and so better than you learned from me because maybe she explained it a different way and it made more sense to you the way that she explained it. So we want to offer different views of hitters to see what clicks with you so you guys always have options. Which is exactly why, like, we have Skylar in there. Skylar does a lot of the same things I do, except she's on the left side. She's a lefty. But same thing, middle infield, power hitter. So same thing with her, right? If she wants to go in and do a hitting program,
we would talk about doing a hitting program with her and then having her instruct and tell her favorite drills. But we always are just trying to unlock different things that can help make you guys better and things that can help stick with you, because you may not learn, I know you may not learn everything from me. Something somebody else says might click better with you. I try to make myself very like open-minded in the way that I express and share hitting and defense, because I know everybody learns differently, but still it doesn't mean what I say will click with you. So we always are trying to find different people that are different than me, different than Skylar, different than the people that we have, so that way we can offer you guys more. Lex, do you have any questions or anything you want me to cover and before I open it up?
Also, yeah, if we could cover how when you have users of the app that they can attend the camps you guys throw for free.
Oh yeah. So we actually just started this. We're having our first one April 19th or 18th. I don't remember, but it's next month. I need to check my calendar. But we are having our first one next month, and this is something we want to, ideally, if we get good turnouts, then technically the more we can do them. If we're getting good turnouts and we're getting people showing up, we have no problem doing them as much as possible. We would love that. The more that we can create a community around this, like that's our goal. I think that's like the one thing with the app that I feel like we're still working on is the community aspect. Like we want it to feel like a place where you can just talk to people or, write random messages. Because in the app, I don't know if I actually said this. So in the app, if you go on and you go to Academy and then it says 32 approach right there, you click it. This is actually a group chat, and everybody in the app has access to the group chat. So you can go on and write anything you want. So you can go on there and people go on there and ask questions. Like this person wrote a question, quick question about game day lifting. Do you recommend performing game day primers in addition, to the prescribed S&C day or in lieu of? So we go on, Summers and I have access to it. We can answer those questions. If somebody were to just go on there and write, man, that was a really good workout today, like that was tough. People can go on and like the message. So it's kind of like this little community we're trying to grow. And so for us, like that's something that is really important to us, and we want people to feel comfortable doing that. But back to the camp. The camp is actually a free camp, and it's open to all app users. So if you are on the app, it's free. So if you're on the app, you can just, we need you to sign up because we're trying to keep track of people, but you could just show up and we would still let you join. But we're trying to keep track of numbers. So we're asking people to sign up with our link that we have been providing out to everybody, to just sign up so we can get an idea for numbers, just so we know if we need to go and get a field or if we need multiple fields. That's just for our own personal reasons, because we want to make sure it's a really good camp. But yeah, it's a camp that's free to all app users and no charge. We're covering everything. We're doing all of it. And we hope to do plenty more in the future, but we're excited for our first one. Our first one is next month. So hoping to get a good turnout there. Even if we don't get a lot of people, we're going to make sure it's great. And hopefully we continue to build the community and that just continues to grow. So we're really excited to be able to offer that. Let's see.
I think for the listeners that, on the Zoom call, I do want to highlight some things that have just stood out to me in this call and just stand out to you, hopefully, is one. This is the only softball player development app that I know of. This is honed in on the game of softball only. It's not baseball. It's no other sport that's included in this. This is specifically for softball, and you get to train like a collegiate athlete. From a collegiate athlete myself, I wish I would have had something like this and more accountability going into my next chapter. But what I love about this app, and something that Mojo has really been pushing, is for credible player development. You have some of the best in the game that are creating this content and creating accountability and a trust the process type of feel that you can follow for literally a quarter of what you pay for lessons. Yes, lessons are great. I'm so glad that you guys are getting the extra work in. You're getting mentorship. You're getting someone that you can talk to in person. but now you have accountability and an app that you can follow something every single day. And personally, as an instructor too, I love this because I know my players are going to work when they leave me. And they're also following something that I, am credible with too. And what I like too is this is a direct line to some of the best in the game. If you have questions, if you have something that you just can't figure out, you have direct line to Sierra Romero, Thomas Summers, and the ones that she is collaborating with. Like you have that access and that opportunity to connect with some of the best in the game, which is community. Mojo is one of the biggest families out there in the Southeast region. And we're based from California all the way to the Carolinas. And there's no reason why we couldn't bond over player development. And this is something in the app where we can all come together and saying, hey, Mojo Lewis, I see you getting that work in. And so it's like we can really come together during this time. You get free camps. You can use this for your recruiting videos. When you're training, you can video yourself following this app. And now you're showing in Oklahoma and all these people that might be going to the transfer portal, and they're seeing that you are training like a collegiate athlete, and that's so attractive when it comes to their recruiting. So this is like a no-brainer to me when it comes to the Mojo family, and I really hope that you guys can utilize this partnership. We do get a discount on this, and we get that opportunity to, as an organization, you're under an umbrella with that discount, and you can train for half of the price. And I know Sierra has really been open to working on like how intimate she is with our organization, doing Zoom calls with us. If there's anything that she can come together with us, we're trying to create a community with her, and that's just growing the game of softball in the right direction. So I want to open the floor. I know Sierra wants to open the floor to all the questions. And do you have access to the chat room, Sierra?
Yes. Yeah.
Awesome.
The
I got
group.
Ross. He
So,
says, will the page on the app be available?
so that was exactly, I was just about to say this. So one thing that we need is, if we don't, like, I know you have a lot of players and a lot of teams. If we want to have Mojo's own app, we need a minimum of 30 girls to sign up. So if at least 30 girls are going to sign up, we can make the Mojo app. So basically what we would need to do is know that we have 30 girls that are going to sign up. We'll create that. We'll go and create the Mojo section within the app. So what'll happen, just so you guys know, if you have another friend that's not on Mojo that's on the app, you guys will not be on the same thing. Mojo will be in their own 32 Approach app, basically. So you'll log into the 32 Approach, but we'll create it for you. I'll end up sending Lex the link, and she'll send it out to you guys, and that would be where you go on, because that'll give you access to the app, but it'll be just the Mojo girls. So when you go on the group chat, it'll be your guys' community on there. You won't be basically with all of our other app users who are on there individually. It'll basically be your own little space kind of thing to work out, train, talk to each other. So we would just need to know that at least 30 girls are signing up. So maybe Lex, you can like take account of who might be interested, and then we can have that ready. What's today? Today is Thursday. So we can have that ready as soon as, if she comes back to me tonight, we could probably have that ready tomorrow, I would say, for sure this weekend. We don't mind working on the weekends. So, we can get that done. But we can have it done really quick. We just kind of need to know a head count to make sure, the work on our side, on the inside, is worth it to create a whole other section within the app for you guys. Camp is in St. Petersburg, Clearwater, Florida. So it's at Summers Method Gym right now. But depending on how many players we get, we might move it to Fields. And if we do move it to Fields, we're looking to get, I'm sure you guys have heard of the Clearwater Invitational, where the colleges go to play. We're looking to get those fields if the camp becomes bigger and we need more space, which is still in the same area, basically. Like those fields are only 15, 20 minutes from the gym. So you'll no matter what, you're going to be at both places, because ideally we'd want to put the athletes through a workout. So we might be at the gym and then transition over to the field. So no matter what, you're going to be in that area. Yes, if you're already signed up on the regular one, we can switch you to the Mojo app. You'll just what'll happen is you'll I might actually be able to cancel for you. Let me double check with Summers on that. So just let Lex know, and then I will ask Summers, and I'll say, hey, can we go ahead and cancel for Lena, and then just get her added on the Mojo side. But yes, we can just put you on that side, and we'll probably just cancel you with your current subscription, and then just put you through the other way. But you will have no problem getting on that app for the Mojo
And
team.
to add to, for the discount code, I did not publish that publicly. I only sent it to the Mojo head coaches. So if you have not received that discount code, you need to touch base with your head coach. They got that code and it will not be shared publicly, and please do not share it publicly. Sierra's doing us a huge favor with that, and we're super, super grateful.
All right, my dog's going crazy. Do you guys have any questions for me as far as, the app, myself, things you guys are looking for? Any questions on like getting to college, like anything right now that you guys have questions with? My hope with working with you guys is that we get just about everybody in the Mojo community, because then we can have what I think could be really cool, more like intimate sessions where it's like, hey, let's have a Mojo Zoom call this month. And maybe you guys are struggling on mental approach at the plate. Maybe you're struggling with positive self-talk, or maybe you're struggling locking in at practice. Coaches are like, yeah, my girls aren't locking in, they're not getting it done. And so maybe you need me to talk to you, right? Figure out how we can make this work and have good conversations. So, my goal is to be that like support for you guys, and that person that can answer a bunch of questions, whether it's coming from the players, parents, or coaches. And what's nice is if I don't have the answer, I can find it. So if I don't know the answer to some college question, whether it's about some rule or whatever, I know a lot of college coaches. I know a lot of college players. I know just about everybody you could think of. And so I can find the answers of anything that I may not know. Does anybody on right now have any questions? Don't feel shy. You sure?
You guys, you have Sierra Romero on the freaking Zoom call. Ask this girl a question. All right, we got one pitching question mark.
What about pitching?
That is covered in the app.
Oh, yeah, there's pitching instructions in the app by Paisley. You guys got anything else for me? Oh, well, right now, camps will always be in Florida. If this, keeps going and we keep getting more and more app users, we will absolutely go to other states. I would not be opposed to that at all. So as long as, business, continues to grow and everything else, then I want to continue to offer the free camps in Florida, obviously. But if we can afford to go get some flights and hotels and everything else, I will 100% do that. Okay. What can you tell all 12U players about their mental approach? 12U. Let's see. I would probably say, I'm trying to think of what I was thinking about when I was in 12U. I think in 12U, I was probably comparing myself a lot. I was probably looking around at other people who might be more developed, or just kind of more grown into their body and everything else. And I would definitely say that, comparing is going to be something you don't want to do. The biggest thing that you can focus on is you and what you're doing. When it comes to like the mental approach, whether it's positive self-talk, making sure you're always talking positively about yourself. You're never talking yourself down from a situation. I think when we're younger, we do that a lot, but I also think we as women do that a lot, and we need to stop doing that. Um, Usually we always say why we can't do something or why something's too hard, or someone else is saying it's too hard for us because we're women, and that's just not the case. And so I definitely think that for all women, not just 12U, but all of the girls in Mojo. I think that the big thing is don't talk yourself off from doing something or talk yourself down in any way. Because once you start to do that, all of a sudden your brain naturally just starts to believe it. So really, you're going to end up being your worst critic, and you don't want your own personal self to be your worst critic. Let everybody else do the talking. You focus on you and what you need to do. So for example, when you're doing this app, say you're doing it for a week, things aren't going great at the plate. Okay, you must not be locking into something, right? You're cutting corners somewhere. You're not focusing enough in something else. Because I promise you, if you are doing the reps and you're putting the work in, you're gonna see improvement. It's not gonna be overnight, but you will see the improvement if you stay consistent in it. I can promise you that. Um, what do you mean by easily manipulate the app and be able to follow? Oh, like use it. Like a 10-year-old would be able to just like use it. Oh, okay. Um, yeah, I think especially with, I feel like I mean, I don't know how old kids are now having phones, but me at 10, no, because I think there were still flip phones, but I feel like the kids now have used it no problem. We haven't gotten any feedback from any of our younger users that they have any trouble using it. It's really easy to follow. We also know that a lot of parents, like, they don't do the app with the kids, but they're like there with the kids and going through it with them. So I'm not sure if the parents are helping them with it at all, but we haven't gotten any feedback that it's hard to use. But if you have any troubles with it, just let us know. So the 9-year-old and 14-year-old. So good question. So they can use the same thing. The only thing maybe the 14-year-old might want, but it's totally up to you. She might want her own because she's going to have different, like, she might want to log different weights. She's going to be lifting heavier, for example, than your 9-year-old. So when you go on there, you have the option to like log the weights you're lifting to be able to keep track of how heavy you've been lifting. And so that way Summers can see it too. Um, in case you were to reach out and be like, hey, I don't feel like I'm getting stronger. He can go back and look and be like, well, you haven't been increasing your weight. You've been staying at the same weight. Like that's the only area that your 14-year-old might want to have her own. But again, she doesn't have to because the app is completely scalable. So she could keep a notepad if she wants just to keep track of her weights. That's going to be totally up to you since you have two girls on it. How important practice is. Oh man, you got to learn to love practice. You have to. When you get to college, you got practice every single day just to play a 3-game series and then go right back to practicing all week. Practice is your best friend because practice is the time where you get to mess up and it doesn't matter. And that's the biggest thing you need to learn quickly because when you get to the games and you mess up, that's when you feel like you let yourself down or you let your teammates and coaches down, or maybe you feel like you let your parents down. Well, a lot of that feelings happen because you didn't practice or do what you needed to do throughout the week. So, one of my favorite things to say is you should not be crying, complaining, or whining after a bad weekend of games if you did nothing throughout the week to prepare, or if you did the bare minimum to prepare. And when you did the bare minimum, that's another thing we're going to have to work on is a lot of athletes now, they'll say they did everything, but did you really? Probably not. Not unless you're probably lying to me if you tell me that you did. Unless you're on this plan and you're doing everything you need to do day by day. Doesn't mean you're going to be perfect, but I can promise you when you're doing what you need to do throughout the week, when you mess up on the weekends, you're not going to feel guilty. You're going to just be like, it was a bad game. Move on. That's what's nice about consistency and practice and preparation is when you do mess up, because you will go over, you will have a bad weekend. You will be like, man, that was rough. Like, I'm glad that's over with. But you're going to be like, okay, well, time to go back to practice, time to go train, and I can't wait for the next set of games. You're not going to feel the like you're not going to feel the like, oh, I suck at softball feeling. You're not going to feel that because you did what you were supposed to do. Instead, what you should start feeling and what you should encourage yourself to think is, I can't wait for my next opportunity. Like, I just went 0 for 3. I can't wait for the next game because I'm going to get a hit. Like, just watch. Like, you should be like itching to go play again because you're so feeling so competitive from all your training that you're like, I'm ready to go. Like I want another game because I want to get a hit and prove that I can hit. Because you know that going over 3 isn't normal for you. We don't want that to be your norm, but it's gonna happen. It happens to me too. But I don't ever feel bad about it. I just had a bad game because I know I did everything I needed to do throughout the week. I just had a bad game, had a bad weekend, whatever it might be. Ooh, good question about slapping. So we don't have slapping right now. I definitely want to get slapping in there. I promise you I will work on that. So right now we are in March. Trying to think if I could possibly get somebody before season. I leave at the end of May for my season. I'm trying to think of somebody who might be local that might be good. That's the key. I have to make sure they're good. I might be able to get, I can look into it. I just don't know because I think she also has a job in the off season. Do you guys know who Aaliyah Andrews is? She played at LSU. Um, call her Air Andrews for all her diving catches in the outfield. She might be a good one too to have for outfield and slapping. I'll look into that because we do need slapping. We don't have slapping. Um, but that might be a good one. So I will try to get slapping in there before season. If I can't get that in before season where we film and edit and everything, um, I will for sure have it by the end of this year. That won't be a problem. But I end season at the end of August. So basically September 1st is when season will be done. And then when I'm back home, that's when we're able to get a lot of that stuff done. So if I don't have it in there before I leave at the end of May, then we'll have it by the end of this year for sure. Kendra Falby, the home run robber, robbing all kinds of home runs lately. I've seen her. I might have to ask her. If we get her, then we're gonna have 2 Florida girls on the app, and I don't know if I can have that. I don't know. I'm just kidding. We could
She's a
definitely.
Mojo alum.
What was that?
She's a Mojo alumni.
Oh, she is? Well, then there you go. So then maybe that's why we have to have her on there. I could even talk to Skylar about getting her on. If we got her, we would definitely have to wait till later this year because she's in the middle of season. So hopefully Florida makes it to the World Series, so they won't be done till June. So she would not be able to film with us before that. Great question. Could a nutrition section be added sometime? We have thought about that. I'm trying to figure that out. I'm not qualified. I think Summers is qualified though. I'm not. But what we could do is what I could do technically is create a section of like suggestions. I'm really weird about the nutrition stuff because every girl is different and I don't want anybody to feel any type of way when it comes to like food and like image or anything else. So one thing I would feel comfortable doing possibly, and you guys can give me feedback on it, would be maybe adding like these are great things to eat, you know, throughout the day, after training, before training, for game days, like maybe like suggestions for meals to make or and things that are easy to make, right? But also things that you can have for dinner, whatever. I'm open to making those kind of suggestions, but I don't know that I want to add like a strict any type of nutrition section because if I hired a nutritionist to put in the app, that's what they would do. And trust me, I know because I have a nutritionist now that I work with. I count my food, I'm counting all the things, and I just could not imagine doing that in high school and younger because I don't want there to be any negative feeling towards food and anything like that. So I would be open to adding like ideas of things that you should eat because I definitely think that could be helpful. But you guys will have to let me know what you think on that. But it's something we've definitely talked about. Biggest motivational moments I've had during my softball path. What did you do different that helped you go from a good player to a great player? Um, ooh. I think the biggest like, wow, I made it kind of moment was probably when I played my sister in the World Series, just because that was something we shared together because we're 3 years apart and it was, we trained all of our lives growing up and to have us both be at the World Series, have our family there, was just like a really cool moment um, for us, I feel like as a family. And then as far as like what helped me go from like the good player to a great player, I would probably say, hmm, so I'm really competitive. So I feel like it started in travel ball, if I'm being honest. I went from 14U to 18U. I felt like I could compete with the 18U players. I felt like I could skip 16U. So me and two other players, we actually went straight from 14U and jumped into 18U. And that for me was like, okay, like you got to figure it out now. Like you're playing with the big girls. I was going on a team where they were committed to Florida, to UCLA, to Michigan, to Arizona State, to all these, almost the whole team was committed. And here I come in, this 14U player, and I'm like, I walked in there like I was the best though. I always had that confidence. Always. Even if I wasn't the best one there, in my head I was because I knew that I could be. So even if I physically wasn't in that moment, in my head, I'm like, oh, it's just a matter of time. Like I just need a little bit of more time. I just need some more practice. So that competitiveness is definitely what helped me go from good to great. And that same thing happened in college. I went from being a good leader to a great leader, which I think is what took me to the next level in college. Not necessarily like my athletic ability in college, but like my leadership in college is what for me I felt like made me great at Michigan and made me a great player. Obviously what I did on the softball field was good, but for me, I thought I was more proud of myself with like my leadership than I was my softball performance. Yeah, confidence, leadership. I mean, those things are huge. And they translate into life. Like when I work with New Balance and when I am, designing a cleat that I have coming out, that confidence for me that I have and the leadership skills that I've learned along the ways, like I feel confident like advocating for the softball player and voicing my opinion. When the baseball guy is trying to tell me, "Oh, this is what we want to do on your cleat." I'm like, "No, I don't want that. I want this." I'm feeling comfortable saying no in situations where, okay, you need my insight as a softball player, so let me have it kind of thing. And so like I just think that and I'm able to say it in a way where it's not, you know, um, I'm not belittling somebody. I can say it with my leadership skills in a way in which it's like, hey, I appreciate what you have to say. I think this would be received better by the softball players. As a female athlete, this is the kind of stuff that we like. And I think all of that came from the leadership side, me learning how to talk to certain people, learning and really paying attention to my teammates. I had pitchers who needed to kind of be a little bit more babied in a sense. At Michigan, I'm like, oh, you're the best thing ever. You're really, you're really good. You're going to strike this girl out. And then I had my teammate who needed me to come in there and yell at her at Michigan, who needed me to be like, dude, figure it out. Like, you need to figure it out right now. Like, you're in your head. You got to do that. Like, I knew which players needed what. And that was all from me getting to know them personally. Because it's like me. I don't do well when you baby me. I don't want you to tell me, you know, all the nice things. I want you to tell me what I'm messing up at and where I'm falling short so I can fix it. And so, I definitely think that plays a big role in leadership. Something young travel player that you would have done differently if you could go back now. I don't mean to ruin this answer, but I definitely think that I did it right the first time. I don't have any, because if I was about to say I wish I would have made more time for like kid stuff, but I did. I went to all my school dances. I went to, you know, I went to the football games in high school. I hung out with my friends. I had the slumber parties. I went to the movies. I hung out at the mall with my friends. Like, I did all that stuff, but I also missed that stuff. So there's a balance, right? So it's not like I didn't do those things. There were some dances I missed, but there was also dances where I was going straight to pictures from from the field. Like, I had to hurry up and change. I had my tan lines, I had all the things, and but I still made time for the kid side of it. Um, the softball side, I mean, I did everything I could. I was playing. I had a sister who was 3 years younger than me that played, so it was really nice. So I was always playing catch outside, playing pepper outside. We were always outside doing something softball related, whether it was wiffle ball or anything like that. But I can't really say that there's something I would do different. I mean, maybe just not be so hard on myself. I think I was pretty hard on myself when I was younger. I would definitely say that, but I think that came from the competitive side of me. What is a good age for young athletes to start weight training? Um, I'll have to double check with Summers, but he thinks, I believe he does not recommend it for anybody younger than, I want to say either 10 or 12, but I need to double check. So what we do have players on the app that are younger, like 8, 9. They just do body weight. So everything that's in our app, they do body weight. They don't do the bar squats, they do body weight squats. Or maybe if you have a dumbbell or you have a kettlebell and you want to hold it, you can do that for like 5 pounds in your hand. But they're not doing anything heavy. But a lot of their stuff is they look at our workouts, they do it body weight. They don't need any weights. Because a lot of that's too like coordination. So for them, they need to figure out how to be coordinated with no weight before we put the weight on them. So for them, it's just doing stuff body weight.
Awesome. Sierra, thank you so much for your time. I'm gonna let everyone, we've hit that hour mark, so I'm gonna make sure everyone gets into their dinner and sees their families. But Sierra, thank you so much for your time. I hope my listeners and Tennessee Mojo understand how big of an opportunity this is to partner up with 32 Approach. I did send a message already in the Team Stacked app. Make sure you talk to your head coach if you would like to commit. We need 30 players to really make this intimate. And there's no doubt that we can make this happen. So talk to your head coaches, be in touch with me. I'm excited for the future of Sierra Romero, 32 Approach with Tennessee Mojo, and we will be in touch.
Awesome. I look forward to it. Thank you guys. I appreciate it. Have a good night.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Thanks, guys.
Bye-bye.